I'm Kevin from Fountain Pen Revolution, and this is going to be another installment of our Fountain Pen Basics video series. Today what we're going to talk about is the different parts of a fountain pen and what they're called. There can be a lot of terminology and it can be pretty confusing when you're reading reviews or on fountain pen forums. So let's talk about all the basic parts. We're just going to hit the most common parts of modern day fountain pens so we don't throw too much at you at one time. Let's start from the top, and the top is called the cap. What the cap does is help protect the nib. The nib is the most delicate part of a fountain pen. So when you're not using a fountain pen, you want to keep that cap on there to protect the nib. But what it also does is keep the nib and feed from drying out. Fountain pen ink is water-based, so it will tend to evaporate. So whenever a fountain pen isn't being used, it's important to keep that cap on. Now there are a couple of different types of caps. This pen has a screw-on cap. The benefit of a screw-on cap is if there's any leak inside the cap, those threads will tend to contain the leak so it doesn't get all over your shirt or your bag or whatever. But some pens also have snap-on caps. This pen has a snap-on cap, and the benefit of that is obviously quick and easy access. You just snap it right off and get to writing. Now most fountain pens will have a clip on the cap. Now obviously this is to help hold it in your shirt pocket or whatever, but I also want to let you know it's very important when you transport a fountain pen that you keep it nib up. So if you're putting a pen in your purse or a backpack or a bag, you want to find an inner pocket and clip that pen in so it stays nib up. When you store a pen on your desk, it's best to store it horizontally so that the cap can also, the clip can also serve the purpose of keeping the pen from rolling off of the desk. Now, not all fountain pens have clips, right? This is a Kaweco Sport, and you see there's no clip on the cap of this pen. So some pens do, some pens don't, but most pens do have caps. The top of a cap, if there's a decorative piece there, is called the finial, or sometimes the cap topper. This is often just a decorative piece as it is on this Kaweco Sport, but it also sometimes can be removed, like on this Himalaya V2, so you can get to the clip and clean everything out or repair the clip if need be. All right, the next part we're going to talk about is the body of the pen. Now this is the largest part of the pen, right? The pen body, and the pen body contains the filling system. Whatever the filling system is, the ink is going to be underneath this body. So if we unscrew the body, we can find the filling system. And attached to the body, we're going to find the section or the grip section. So if somebody talks about the section of a pen, and you're like, what section? It's the grip section right here, the part of the pen that you hold. Let me remove everything else so you can see it by itself. There's the grip section of the pen all by itself. Now grip sections are usually round like this one, but not always. This Lamy Safari pen has an angled grip section to help promote proper grip. Right, the nib and feed fit into the grip section. And let's get right into the nib and feed. Now the nib and feed is the star of the show. The nib is what writes, what puts the ink down on the paper and writes, right? So let's pull it out and talk about it. This is the nib of the pen that's protruding from the grip section, and this is what a nib looks like. There's a couple of important parts of the nib. One, you have the nib slit. The slit is a little line that runs down the center of the nib that delivers ink to the nib tipping, which is our second part that we're going to talk about. The little ball tipping on the end of a nib is called the nib tipping. It's made out of a really hard alloy so the nib doesn't sand down as you write with it. And the size of that tipping is going to determine the width of your line, right? Is it a really small ball so it's an extra fine? Is it larger so it's fine or medium or broad? We're going to have a whole different video on different types of nibs, so I won't get into that too much. Right behind the nib, you're going to find the feed. The feed is almost always a black part. It's located right behind the nib, and it's called the feed for the obvious reason that it feeds ink from the filling system to the nib. So I'll pull that out to give you a good look at the feed. Feeds usually look like this. This is the plastic feed. Most modern fountain pens have plastic feeds. There'll be a little tail on the end. There'll be some fins, and very importantly, there will be a channel that runs down the top center of that feed, and that's what feeds ink to the nib. Now, let me put this back together. Most fountain pens these days will have something called a nib unit. A nib unit is this right here that screws into the front of the grip section. A nib unit has three parts. We've already talked about the nib, we've talked about the feed, and has this nib unit collar. This is the part that holds the nib and feed together. And if a pen has a nib unit, then that nib unit will screw in to the front of the grip section like that. Now, not all pens have nib units. On some pens, like with this Himalaya V2, This pen is friction fit. It means instead of having a nib unit, the nib and feed press directly into the grip section of the pen. So some pens have nib units, some pens don't. Usually grip sections are removable from pens. You saw me do this, but that's not always the case. On some pens, like on this piston filled pen, the grip section is not removable. So you might want to check before you try to accidentally break your pen by removing a part that isn't removable. If you found this useful so far, please consider subscribing below. Next, we're going to get into fill systems. Now, our next video is going to be how to fill different types of pens. So I'm going to be very brief on this just to talk about the terminology. The most common fill system for modern pens is the cartridge converter pen. Cartridge converter pen. With a cartridge converter pen, and that's this one right here, you can take a cartridge. A cartridge is a small plastic cylinder that has ink inside that you can press into the back of the grip section to fill it, but also has an option to use something called a converter. A converter also presses into the back of the grip section, and then you can twist that converter to put it down into a bottle of ink and fill it. And again, we'll demonstrate that further in our next video. Another common fill method, my personal favorite, is the piston filled pen. With a piston pen, there is a knob on the back, and when you twist that piston knob, a piston will descend in the pen, and that allows you to put the pen down in ink and then twist that piston again and draw ink up into the pen. Piston pens will often have something called a blind cap. This is a blind cap right here. It screws on to the back of the piston knob, and the purpose of the blind cap is to keep you from accidentally twisting the piston and squirting ink out when you really didn't mean to do so. All right, another fill method that we're going to talk about is a vacuum fill pen. It's a very high capacity fill method. The way this works is you're going to unscrew the knob of a vacuum filled pen and you're going to pull back that vacuum rod. And then when you push it forward, as you push it forward, a vacuum builds up behind the seal until it reaches this little ridge here, and then you'll hear click, and ink will suck up into the pen because that vacuum has been released. Pretty creative fill method. It's called a vacuum filled pen. The final fill method we'll talk about is an eyedropper filled pen. Very rudimentary, but a very large ink capacity. With an eyedropper filled pen, you simply remove the grip section of the pen and you'll use an eyedropper or a syringe or something like that to put ink directly into the barrel of the pen and then screw the grip section back on. So that is an eyedropper filled pen. Just a couple other quick terms I wanted to mention. If a pen has a clear spot in the middle, right between the grip section and the barrel, it's called an ink window. And you can use the ink window to see what kind of ink you have in there, but also how much ink you have in there. Some caps will have a hole in them. I often get emailed like, hey, my pen's defective, there's a hole in the cap. No, that's called a breather hole. It's usually hidden below the clip of the pen. And the purpose of the breather hole is to reduce suction when you uncap the pen so that ink isn't accidentally sucked out of the pen as you uncap the pen. Now finally, on some pens, the grip section will cover part of the nib. Right, this pen is called a semi-hooded pen because the hood covers only most of the nib. If the hood were to cover the entire nib all the way up to the tip, it would be called a hooded fountain pen. So a hooded or a semi-hooded fountain pen. I hope that helps. I know it's a lot of terminology, so feel free to rewind and watch it all again to get it all down. And please stay tuned for our next installment, which is going to be how to fill different types of fountain pens.